This is your news report and second stimulus check update for Election Day. That is right, everybody. Today's November 3rd, and today we may finally know who the next president will be. By the way, everybody, who do you think is going to win this election? Is it President Trump or Joe Biden? Leave your comments down below. And first, let's get this video to 1,000 likes and subscribe to my channel and click the bell. Now first, everybody, I want to give you guys some important information on the election. It's gonna be tight. This is probably the tightest election race that we've ever seen, and one of the reasons why the next president is important is because of your stimulus check and your stimulus package. Trump already said that after the election that he will pass a big and wonderful stimulus check. Now Trump has made promises like that before, and he's actually, kept some promises, broken some promises, but it looks like he might pass one if he gets reelected. But President Trump is not the only person that wants a stimulus bill to be passed. We know the politicians on the Democrat side like Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, both want a stimulus check to be passed out to the American people. Like most of the time, our politicians in Washington are having disagreements, back and forth stimulus negotiations, and if we don't know who the president is going to be tonight, probably even more back and forth arguments. Washington is so unpredictable. Now according to the CNBC article, here's how the prospects for more stimulus aid could change based on election results. Republicans and Democrats face a showdown at the polls on Tuesday, but the Oval Office and the Senate seats are not the only factors at stake. Has anybody voted? Leave your comments down below, telling me who you voted for. Voted for Trump? Voting for Biden? Are you going to go independent? Are you voting for Kanye West? Leave your comments down below. So as Americans cast their votes on Election Day, millions are still waiting for financial relief from a stimulus package, and that is still up in the air. It's been up in the air for months. We've been waiting for a stimulus package for months. Literally 12, no, not 12 months. Well, it might be. Who knows? We might get a stimulus check in March. But for 8 months, we've been waiting for a stimulus check. A $1,200 stimulus check. In my opinion, our American politicians gotta give us more than that. We the people, the citizens, the good-hearted, hard-working American citizens of the United States of America deserve a $2,400 stimulus check at least. Or $3,600. Make it better than that. Because over in the United Kingdom, where they actually just locked down for 4 more weeks, Boris Johnson has told the United Kingdom citizens that the extension of the furlough scheme, whereby the government pays 80% of employees' wages, will be continued. Over in the United Kingdom, the parliament is paying their people 80% of their employee wages. 80% of their paychecks. But over here in America, we have an election to deal with. That's right. We got clean water, we got clean food to eat, most of us hopefully. And we got an election to deal with. Oh my Washington. Well, I will vote for the person who I believe is best suited to lead our country, but the fact is that every politician in Washington has simply neglected the American people. I mean, come on, they had 8 months to get a stimulus deal done, and nothing has been done yet. It's sad. So depending on the election results, there might be a change of tone on Capitol Hill. CNBC reports that if there is a Democratic sweep, let's say if Joe Biden wins the election, the biggest size bill would come if Democrats win both control of the White House and the Senate. That's according to Chief Washington policy strategist Brian Gardner. House Democrats have put forward a $3 trillion plan in May, which was revised down to around $2.2 trillion. With a Democratic sweep, the reigning party would probably look to pass something in the $2 trillion to $3 trillion range. I don't think Democrats can pass a $3 trillion deal on their own. Obviously, this is a fluid situation, and the numbers will move around a lot once more negotiations resume. But if Biden wins, but Republicans keep the Senate, let's consider that scenario. The stimulus package will still likely happen, because all of us know that it needs to happen. He predicts the deal will be in the $1.5 trillion to $2.5 trillion range. But political leaders would likely leave the option open to provide more money down the road. Washington has shown its ability to go back and do multiple rounds of these. I would not dismiss the possibility this is not the last relief package. Now, if President Trump were to get reelected, the Senate will also likely stay in GOP hands, and that could lead to a smaller stimulus bill getting passed with the idea that more federal aid could be provided later. Though the polls are pointing out to a Biden win, Gardner says that he's not counting Trump out, and I wouldn't either because this election is going to be tight. Let's face it. This is going to be the tightest, most close neck-to-neck race that we've ever seen. This is going to be a good one, everybody. Will we get the election results today, next week, next month, possibly? No one knows for certain. But if the results are contested, which there's a good possibility that it might be, then most likely there might be no stimulus deal until our next president is determined. That is at least according to CNBC. Any uncertainty in the outcome of the election almost guarantees no deal will be struck in the lame duck. If we're fighting over the election, there is no way to get compromised on a fiscal support. But the worst case scenario, the battle for the office could create so many bad feelings that between both parties it might be impossible for an agreement to happen. Yeah, that is true. I find that to be true. Because if both parties, Republicans and Democrats and even some independents, go back and forth with each other trying to determine the next president, whether it be President Trump or Joe Biden, there's going to be a lot of drama going on. If that's the case, we don't know for sure. If that is the case, that's bad news for everybody. Because that basically means no stimulus pass until sometime in 2021. And that cannot happen. The American people need help now. My message to our politicians is to give the American people what they want and what they need. The good American people have done nothing wrong. We are hard-working Americans, innocent Americans. We deserve the best, if this is so-called the best country in the world. Am I right? So, like I said, America's on course for the highest voter turnout in more than a century. Many of my friends said they're voting and they haven't voted in 45 years, so this is going to be interesting. With approaching 101 million votes already cast, the United States on course to see the highest voter turnout in more than a century. The US is on track to see some of the highest voter engagement since the early 1900s. Wow, that is a long time ago. Joe Biden has made campaigns in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. The Democratic nominee holds a strong national polling lead. The race is still much tighter in the battleground swing states. But the race is much tighter in the battleground swing states that will decide the all-important electoral college votes. Trump is spending the day in Washington and is expected to host an election watch party tonight at the White House. Hey, nice! President Trump is hosting a party at the White House. Pelosi said the president is installing an illegitimate Supreme Court justice. Nancy Pelosi. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi slammed Amy Coney Barrett during the Election Day press call, indicating that Democratic attacks on Barrett have not stopped since she was confirmed by the U.S. Senate and sworn in 1 week ago. The president's installing an illegitimate Supreme Court justice 1 week before the election, after 60 million Americans have voted who will dismantle this ACA and won't say, by the way, when asked by Dianne Feinstein, do you think that Medicare is constitutional? She said she really couldn't say. That's according to Pelosi on Tuesday. By the way, everybody, what do you think of Amy Coney Barrett? Do you think that she will be a good Supreme Court justice? Is she going to properly replace the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Will she make the right decisions? What do you think, everybody? Leave your comments down below. Now we got good old Chuck Schumer saying to call this process illegitimate as being too kind. The American people oppose this. Democrats will not stop fighting this nomination. Everyone, let's check out what Senator Chuck Schumer says about this.
With my colleagues on the Judiciary Committee who are boycotting, I am here to stand with my colleagues on the Judiciary Committee who are boycotting today's committee markup on the nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. This is not a decision the members of the committee have taken lightly, but a Republican majority has left us no choice. We are boycotting this illegitimate hearing. The nomination of Amy Coney Barrett is the most illegitimate process I have ever witnessed in the Senate, and her potential confirmation will have dire consequences for the Senate, for the Supreme Court, and our entire country for generations to come.
Those are the statements followed. Those are the statements made by Senator Chuck Schumer. But in my opinion, everybody, I just really think that everybody in Congress, everybody in Washington, all of our politicians, they just gotta stay focused on passing the next stimulus. I mean, after this election, hopefully we'll get the results tonight. They must pass the next stimulus bill. It is a must. People are hurting. A deal must be made. This is going to be a tight race, no doubt about it, everybody. Very, very tight election race going on tonight. With that being said, that is all the news. That is all the news surrounding your next stimulus check and, of course, the presidential election.